Hello class 8, how are you all? So we had been studying about metals and non-metals. Yes, last time we studied about malleability and ductility. Am I right? Yes. Last time we studied about malleability and ductility. And we also studied about conductivity, malleability and conductivity, two topics we studied. Okay, let's revise them. So, what do you mean by malleability? Yes, what do you mean by malleability? Can you tell me? Yes, malleability means the property of metal by which it can be converted into, yes, tell me, into thin sheet is known as malleability. Okay, means converting any metal into thin sheet is known as malleability. It means all the metals we can convert into thin sheet, but non metals we cannot convert into thin sheet. We can convert metals into thin sheet, but we cannot convert non-metals into thin sheet. Okay, I hope you understood. And one more point, sodium. Remember, sodium is exception. Yes. So sodium cannot be converted into thin sheet. Sodium is a metal. Remember kids, sodium is a metal, but sodium you cannot convert sodium into thin sheet. Okay. So I am reading, you can see on the screen. You know that the shape of the iron nail and the aluminium wire change on beating. Yes, we can change the shape of iron, we can change the shape of aluminium when we beat them. If they were beaten harder, these could be changed into sheets. Yes, if you beat them too much, harder and harder, then what will happen? They will change into thin sheet. Okay. And you might be familiar with silver foil used for decorating sweets. Yes, we use silver foil. Yes, am I right? We use silver foil. For what purpose we use? We use to decorate silver. We use silver foil to decorate sweets. How do we get silver foil? We get silver foil when we beat it and convert into thin sheet. Okay. And so we can say that the property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheet is called malleability. Okay, this is a characteristic property of metals. I hope you understood. So as you must have noticed materials like coal, pencil, lead do not show this property. Yes. So which material do not show this property? Coal, pencil, and rubber also, and plastic also. So these material do not show this property. Why? Because they are non-metal. So we can say non-metals are not malleable. It means non-metals we cannot change them into thin sheet, but metals are malleable. It means we can change them into thin sheet. Okay. I hope you understood. Now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now let's talk about conductivity. Conductivity means the property of metal by which we can flow the current through them. Yes, the property of metal by which current can be flowed through them. Yes. So conductivity means either current or heat can flow or cannot flow. So if you try to hold a hot metallic pan, hold metallic pan without a plastic or wooden handle, can you hold it? No, you cannot hold it and you will get hurt. So can you hold a hot metallic pan which is without a plastic or a wooden handle and not get hurt? Can you hold it? No, perhaps not. Why? Because hot metallic pan is made of metal. And they are good conductor of heat. Yes, they are good conductor of heat. But if they have handle made of wood, then you can easily handle. Why? Because wood is poor conductor. Yes, It means we can say those material through which heat or current can pass are known as good conductor. Those material through which current can pass are known as good conductor, and those material through which current cannot pass are known as poor conductor. Okay. So on the basis of these experience, what can you say about the conduction of heat? What can you say about the conduction of heat by wood and plastic? You must have seen an electrician. Using screwdriver. What kind of handle does it have? Can you tell me? Screwdriver. What kind of handle does it have? Screwdriver has plastic handle. Why? Because plastic is poor conductor. Okay. So I hope you understood. Now let's move on to the next point. Okay kids, now let's try to understand next topic, which is ductility and sonorous. Yes, ductility and sonorous. So what is the meaning of ductility? Okay, the ductility means the property of metals by which they can be drawn, they can be changed into wires is called ductility. Okay, it means we can change metal into wire. We can change metal into wire when we try to convert them. Yes, all the metals we can change into wire, but sodium is the only metal we cannot change sodium into wire. Okay, so I am reading, where do you find the use of aluminium and copper wire? Yes, where do you find the use of aluminium and copper wire? You know, we use copper wire to flow the electricity. Yes, so have you ever seen the wire of coal? No. Have you ever seen the wire of stone? No. Have you ever seen the wire of plastic? No. So we can say definitely not. So we can say metals are ductile, but non-metals are not ductile. What is it? What is the meaning of it? Metals are ductile, but non-metals are not ductile. What is the meaning of it? It means we can change metals into wire, but we cannot change non-metals into wire. Yes, we can change silver into wire, we can change gold into wire, we can change copper into wire, but we cannot change coal into wire, we cannot change plastic into wire. I hope you understood. Next property is sonorous. Sonorous means, sonorous is the property of producing sound. Yes, the ability of producing sound. Okay, so sonorousness means, you know that things made of metal produce sound. You know, our school bell produce sound during lunch, okay. So how is it possible? Because it is made of metal, and metal always produce sound. Metals always produce sound. The things made of metals produce ringing sound when struck hard. Yes, if you try to strike hard, then what will happen? They will produce sound, ringing sound. So we can say metals produce ringing sound. That's why metals are said to be sonorous. It means metals are sonorous, but non-metals are not sonorous. Yes, they do not produce ringing sound. Tell me, can plastic produce ringing sound? No. Can stone produce ringing sound? No. It means non-metals are not sonorous, but metals are sonorous. Remember kids, metals are sonorous, but non-metals are not sonorous. Okay. Have you seen wooden bell in temple? Yes. You know, in a temple the bell also produce sound. Yes. It is made of iron. Yes. Am I right? It is not made of wood. I hope you understood. Now let's move on to the next point. So kids, whatever we studied today and in previous class, let's do the conclusion. Okay, let's do the conclusion. You will not write this one, okay? You will not write this one. It is just the conclusion, okay? Some materials are hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous and good conductor of heat and electricity. The materials which generally the materials which generally possess these properties are called metals. Yes. So what are metals? Metals are those which are lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous, good conductor of heat and electricity. If you want to write, you can write, okay? If you want to write, you can write. I don't have any problem, okay? So, if someone asks you, what do you mean by metals? What are metals? Someone asks you, what do you mean by metals or what are metals? What answer will you give? So, metals are those material which possess some properties. Which properties? Metals are those material which possess the properties like lustrous, they are lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous and good conductor of heat and electricity. Okay? And the examples of metals are iron, copper, aluminium, calcium, magnesium. Yes, remember kids, calcium is also a metal. Don't think that calcium is always present in milk. Okay? Next. So, in contrast, if we talk opposite of it, materials like coal and sulfur are soft and dull in appearance. Yes. Materials like coal and sulfur both are soft and dull. Yes. Both are soft and dull. Yes. They are not malleable. They are not ductile. They are not sonorous. Yes. Coal, sulfur, they are non-metal. They are not lustrous. They are not malleable. They are not ductile. They are not sonorous. They are not good conductor of heat and electricity. They are actually poor conductor of heat and electricity. And the breakdown into powdery mass on tapping with hammer. Yes, when we strike them harder with a hammer, then they will convert, you can change them, they break down into powdery mass. Yes, you can make their powder, okay? They are not sonorous. Remember kids, they are not sonorous, means they do not produce sound, okay? And they are poor conductor of heat and electricity. It means they do not flow heat and electricity. These materials are called non-metals. The examples of non-metals are sulfur, carbon, oxygen, phosphorus, yes, hydrogen, helium, all gases. These are the examples of non-metals. I hope you understood. Now, let's move on to the next point. So kids, we studied physical properties of metal. Yes, malleable. We studied physical properties of metals and non-metals. Yes, we studied the physical properties of metals and non-metals, like malleable, malleability, ductility, sonorous. Yes, all these properties like conductivity. We studied lustrous. All these we studied. Okay. Now we will study chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Yes. So first chemical property is reaction with oxygen. Yes, reaction with oxygen. So reaction with oxygen means metals react with oxygen and non-metals also react with oxygen. Okay, metals react with oxygen and non-metals also react with oxygen. Okay, you are familiar with the phenomenon of rusting of iron. You had learned that in both that process oxide formation take place. You know, rusting of iron, you already know, you are familiar with it. Can you tell me why does it happen? Why does it happen? Why does it happen means why does rusting of iron occur? Because rusting of iron occur. Why does it happen? Because when iron comes in contact with moisture and air, then when iron comes in contact with them, then it forms oxide. Yes, it means it forms iron oxide. Okay, please write down. I am giving you 10 seconds. Okay kids, so what is iron? Iron is a metal. Metal react with oxygen. Remember kids, metal react with oxygen. And non-metal also react with oxygen. So when metal, which metal? Iron comes in contact with moisture, air and oxygen, or you can say moisture, air is enough. So when iron comes in contact with moist air, or you can say moisture, air, then iron react with it and it forms oxide. So this is a chemical reaction. This is a chemical reaction. It means first chemical property is metal can react with oxygen. Metal can react with oxygen. Okay. Now let's see an activity. Let's move on the next point. So kids, now let's do a experiment activity. You can see, collect a spoonful of rust and dissolve it in a very little amount of water. Yes, what will you do? You will take a spoonful of rust, yes, a spoonful of rust, okay, and dissolve it in water. You will find that rust remains suspended in water. Yes, rust will float, suspended. Shake the suspension well, shake the suspension now well, then what will you see? Test the solution with red and blue litmus paper. What do you observe? Is the solution acidic or basic? Yes. So you will see the result that metals are basic in nature. Metals are basic in nature. Please write down, then I will explain you again, okay? So kids, what will you do? First of all, take rust, spoonful rust, add in little amount of water. What will you see? You will see that it is suspending in water. Yes, you will find that the rust remains suspended in water. You will find that the rust remains suspended in water. Okay. Now shake the suspension well. Shake the suspension well. Okay. Shake it well. Then you will do the test with litmus paper. Litmus paper. What is litmus paper? Litmus paper are available in red and blue color. Litmus paper are available in red and blue color. Litmus paper tell us which solution is acidic and which solution is basic. Litmus paper tells us which solution is acidic and which solution is basic. What is the meaning of it? It means acidic means, what is the meaning of acidic? It means they are sour in taste. They are sour in taste. And basic means they are bitter in taste. That is the meaning. Okay. So when will you check? When will you check rust with litmus paper? Then you will observe. Let's write the observation. Let's move on the next point. So kids, that when you will check the rust, when will you check the rust with litmus paper which is available in red and blue color. Okay. So if solution will be acidic, then what will happen? Red litmus will change into blue. If solution is basic, then blue litmus will change into red. So you must have observed that the red litmus turned blue. Yes, red litmus turned blue. So oxide of magnesium is also basic in nature in general. So we can say metallic oxide are basic in nature. Yes, remember kids, when you check rust with when you do testing of rust with litmus paper, then you will find that it is not acidic. Rust is actually basic in nature. Rust means metallic oxide. Or you can say iron oxide. Iron oxide is the correct name of rust. Chemical name of rust is iron oxide. So iron oxides are basic in nature. Okay. Please write down. Okay. I'm giving you 10 seconds. So kids, you must have observed that the red litmus turned blue. Yes, red litmus turning blue. Yes, it means if red litmus is turning blue means it is a basic in nature. Suppose if it change into blue to red, then which nature will it have? It will have acidic nature. Okay. I hope you understood. Now let's move on to the next point. Okay kids, now let's do one more activity. Activity number 4. And this activity should be demonstrated by the teacher in the class. Yes, you will not do this activity. Don't worry kids, I will show you all experiment, most of the experiment in the class, okay? Don't worry, I will show you the experiments, okay? Most of the experiment I will try to show you in the class and in the lab, okay? Few experiment you will do yourself, few experiment I will show you. I cannot allow you to do all the experiment, yes. Remember kids, I cannot allow you to do all the experiment because some experiments are very dangerous, you know. Okay, so take a small amount of powdered sulfur in a deflagrating spoon. Yes, deflagrating spoon is a J-shaped spoon. Okay, deflagrating spoon is actually a J-shaped spoon. Okay, so you will take in a spoon. What will you take in a spoon? You will take powdered sulfur. Okay, you will take powdered sulfur and you will heat it. What will you do? You will heat it. If deflagrating spoon is not available, then you can take a metallic cap of any bottle. Okay, you can take the cap of any bottle and wrap a wire around it and make like a deflagrating spoon, just like oil spoon. Yes, in J shape. So by taking a cap, you can make using a wire around it, you can make it a deflagrating spoon. Okay, if deflagrating spoon is available, then it's a good thing. Now please write down, I am giving you 10 seconds. So kids, first of all, what will you do? Take a small amount of powder of sulfur in a deflagrating spoon and heat it. Then what will you do? You will heat. You will heat it. Then what will happen? Let's move on the next point. So kids, when you will start heating it, when you will start burning it, then what will happen? As soon as sulfur start burning, introduce the spoon into a gas jar or glass tumbler. Then what will you do? As the sulfur start burning, you will take it away into a gas jar. Yes, you will take it and put into a gas jar, or you can say glass tumbler. Okay, I will show you the picture of glass tumbler. Okay, in next slide I will show you the picture of glass tumbler. Okay, cover the tumbler with a lid. Yes, then you will cover it with a lid so that gas will not come out, gas will not escape means coming out, releasing out. Okay, so you will cover the glass tumbler with a lid so gas will not come out. Now what will you do? Remove the spoon after some time. Yes, you will remove the spoon, take out the spoon and add a small quantity of water into tumbler. Then what will you do? You will add a small quantity of water in tumbler and quickly, fast, very fast, quickly replace the lid. Yes, quickly you will cover it with lid and shake the tumbler well. Then what will you do? You will shake the tumbler. Well. Then check the solution with red and blue litmus paper. Then what will you do? You will check it with red and blue paper litmus and you will check the result. Okay? Please write down. I am giving you 10 seconds. So kids, as soon as sulfur starts burning, yes, when sulfur starts burning, introduce the spoon into a gas or jar tumbler. Yes, introduce the spoon into a gas jar or a glass tumbler. Okay, then cover the tumbler with a lid to ensure that the gas produced does not escape. Remove the spoon after some time. Add a small quantity of water into the tumbler and quickly replace the lid. Shake the tumbler well. Then we will check it with red and blue litmus paper. Then we will see the result. Before it, let me show you the diagram of glass tumbler. Let's move on to the next point. So kids, you can see the picture of Flagrating spoon, yes. Can you see the picture of deflagrating spoon? Yes, just a bottle cap, use a wire around it and make like a J shape. Make like a J shape. This is a deflagrating spoon. So you will fill the deflagrating spoon with sulfur, then you will burn it. What will you do? You will burn it, and during burning gas will produce. So you will put now into a glass tumbler. You can see the picture of glass tumbler, or you can also call it gas jar. Can you see the picture of glass tumbler? Then gas will collect in, and you will cover it. You will cover the glass tumbler with a lid. So all the gas will collect into a glass tumbler. Okay, all the gas will collect into glass tumbler. Come now. Now what will you do? Now kids, what will you do? You will add little bit water, then you will take red litmus paper and blue litmus paper, and you will check it with the solution. You will check the solution. Then what will happen? May be possible that red litmus paper will turn blue, or may be possible that blue litmus paper will turn red. Now let's see the observation. Let's move on the next point. Okay, so as you can see the observation, the name of the product formed in the reaction of sulfur and oxygen is sulfur dioxide gas. Yes. So when sulfur is burnt, can you tell me, before I explain it, can you give me the answer of a general knowledge question? When does anything burn? When does anything burn? Suppose I am burning a paper. If I burn a paper, when will paper burn? In the presence of oxygen. Without oxygen, you cannot burn anything. When any metal react with oxygen, what will it form? It will always form oxide. When any metal or any non-metal, react with oxygen, it always form oxide. Okay, remember kids, when any metal or non-metal react with oxygen, it always form oxide of that metal or non-metal. Okay, so when sulfur is burnt, then it forms sulfur dioxide. Yes, what is the symbol of sulfur? S. What is the symbol we use for for sulfur? Yes, S. What is the symbol for sulfur? S. And what is the formula of sulfur dioxide? What is the formula of sulfur dioxide? SO2. What is the formula of sulfur dioxide? SO2. Okay. So when sulfur is burnt, it means sulfur is reacting with oxygen. So when sulfur reacts with oxygen, it forms sulfur dioxide gas. Okay. So the name of product formed in the reaction of sulfur and oxygen is sulfur dioxide gas. When sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, in gas jar, gas come out. Which gas come out? Sulfur dioxide. Then what we do? We add water. Then what will happen? When we add water, it forms a new acid, which is known as sulfurous acid. So what is the chemical formula of sulfurous acid? H2SO3. H2SO3 is sulfurous acid. Okay. So when sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, forms sulfurous acid. Yes, which acid is formed? Sulfurous acid is formed. Okay. The reaction can be given as follow. You can see the reaction: sulfur dioxide plus water, SO2 plus H2O. Then what is forming? Sulfurous acid, H2SO3. Okay. And the sulfurous acid turns blue litmus paper into red. Yes, it always turns blue litmus paper into red. So we can say oxide of non-metals are acidic in nature, because if any material is changing from blue to red litmus, if any litmus paper change into blue to red, it means that material is acidic in nature. Okay. And the previous example I explained that rust change into, yes, I explained about rust. Rust is a basic in nature because rust change into red into blue. Yes, into blue, red into blue. That's why rust is a metal and metals are basic in nature. I hope you understood. Now, let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now the remaining we will study in next class. Okay, now it's time to ask question from you. Question number 1, define ductility and sonorous. Yes, define ductility and sonorous. So, you know, ductility means the property of metals by which it can be drawn into wire is known as ductility. The property of metals by which they can be drawn into wire is called ductility. Yes, remember kids, all the metals are ductile. Yes, and non-metals are not ductile. It means we can convert all the metals into wire, but we cannot convert non-metals into wire. But remember kids, there is an exception. Sodium is a metal, but we cannot convert it into wire. Okay, remember, the property of metal by which it can be drawn into wire is known as ductility. Now let's talk about sonorous. So the things made of metals produce ringing sound. Yes, the things made of metals produce ringing sound when struck hard, when they are struck hard. Since metals produce ringing sound, because metals produce ringing sound, we know they are said to be sonorous. Yes, they are known as sonorous. And okay, so those metals, we can say that all the metals are sonorous in nature, but non-metals are not sonorous in nature. All the metals are sonorous in nature, but non-metals are not sonorous in nature. It means metals produce ringing sound. Yes, sonorous are those material which produce sound. Yes, sonorous is that property of metal which shows the ability of producing ringing sound. Next question, explain chemical property. Which chemical property? Reaction with acid. Yes, reaction with acid. Okay, sorry, reaction with oxygen. Okay, explain the chemical property, reaction with oxygen. So you can see we are familiar already. So I am telling the answer. How will you write the answer of this question? First of all, write the heading reaction with oxygen. Now how will you write? When metals react with oxygen, they forms metallic oxide. Write this line, please write this line. When metals react with oxygen, they forms metallic oxide. Next line, when non-metals react with oxygen, they form non-metallic oxide. When non-metals react with oxygen, they form non-metallic oxide. Then you will write the example. Yes, you will write all the metals react with oxygen, while all the non-metals also react with oxygen. Now you will write the activity of rust. Take rust, dissolve in water, shake the suspension, do the solution, do the litmus test. You will see that red litmus turn into blue, which shows that the iron means rust, metals are basic in nature. And you will also you can write the example of sulfur, burning of sulfur. Yes, do you remember? When we burn sulfur, then we put in glass tumbler, then we add water, then we do the test, then at last we see the result that sulfur is a non-metal and it is acidic in nature. Okay, I hope you understood. So we can say metals and non-metals react with oxygen, and metals form metallic oxide when it reacts with oxygen, and non-metals form non-metallic oxide. I hope you understood. Now we will meet in next class. Till then, bye bye.